Hello, welcome to the 1878 FM podcast. The full house this week. Sam and Dave, very much like Chaz and Dave, are in the house with me and Pam. I mean, we're not in the house, so there you go. That didn't make any sense either.
Why are they very much like Chaz and Dave?
Because it just felt like, I felt like saying it, like Sam and Dave.
Sam's been to that
day London, and I thought he'd be coming back, you know, the old Cockney rhyming slang, throwing a few out there. He's doing the Cockney walk. If you're listening to it on a podcast, you missed it.
You wouldn't have got the benefit of that, would you?
Like the Cockney.
There is a Sam and Dave, though, like another Sam and Dave.
Yeah. There is. They're a classic. They're a classic Motown partnership, if I remember rightly.
Well, no, but I'm thinking of Chaz and Dave, and I want Sam and Dave to be very much like Chaz and Dave. I can see Dave on the piano and Sam giving it the Cockney walk behind it. I think it'd be good, yeah.
I saw Chaz and Dave live. In one calendar year, I saw them live 4 times. Which is
now you
almost as much as I'd seen my own mother.
I mean, that's too much. I think
it is too much.
I mean, even for an actual Cockney, that's too much.
Yeah.
Too much Chaz, and you might say too much Dave as well. It was too much.
No one had that on their bingo card, did they? Nobody. That's Sam.
One of the times I saw them, it was at a tribute festival called Glastonbury, and it was all tribute acts.
Nice.
But right in the middle of all these tribute acts, like Stereotonics and Oasis,
I like it.
Chaz and Dave, and we were like, is that the real Chaz and Dave, or should they be Dave and Chaz, or have they spelled spelled Chaz with an S or a Z or whatever the wrong one is? Yeah. And it was the real one. They were really good.
Did they have any sort of like guest appearance of Ozzy Ardiles or anything like that, just to go with the top
recall that,
song?
but it was quite well oiled.
That would have been good, just to make, you know, we definitely are Chaz and Dave. And here's Ozzy Ardiles coming Tottenham, how we used to say it. Brilliant.
Tottenham.
Chaz and Dave. I didn't know that was going to take up so much time.
4 times in one calendar year.
That's incredible, isn't it?
That is.
It was too many. It was probably three too many.
Well, it's one to tell the grandkids about.
Rabbit.
All right. Let's get on to Everton. Leave Chaz and Dave and Tottenham where they are. We'll come back to it. We can always come back to it.
I just love that James is looking at us going, who's Chaz and Dave? Who's Chaz and Dave?
Scandalous.
Right, well, I'm going to send James a playlist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did Chaz and Dave sing Snooker Loopy as well?
Yeah, they did.
Yes,
didn't
they
he?
did.
Yeah.
Because all I can think of is old Mio and Tony Mio in the black and white suit. Old Mio, we all know he's got loads of Empress suit. Anyway.
It's a bit mainstream for me, that one, though. It was too middle of the road. You want the deep cuts,
very much so.
Well, it was for the BBC.
It's very much so.
Programme as well, wasn't it? John Virgo.
It's when everybody else started getting into Chaz and Dave that I give them
early stuff.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
When they become too mainstream.
Yeah, when they become mainstream with snooker songs, that's when I was like, no,
I've had enough.
Did they do the Big Break theme song as well? Because that was obviously snooker, wasn't
It's only a game,
It's gotta be them.
It's got to be them.
It must be. Hang on. Do you
I'm
want me to
going to be snookering you tonight.
We're hemorrhaging and
I just
listening.
need definitive knowledge and fact on this, right?
I think it was just based.
Was it based on? Did you just do the Chaz and Dave sound?
Yeah.
Someone went, we wanted to sound a bit like Chaz and Dave.
We haven't got the budget for Chaz and Dave.
No.
So can somebody...
Well, they're too busy playing Glaston budget, so we couldn't get them. So can someone rip them off?
Yeah, hang on.
Their big hits include the Sideboard song,
Yeah.
Margate, Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur,
That's the
Rabbit, Snooker Loopy,
Yeah.
Oh, Gertrude.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
No.
They've got more than you think, actually. I mean, I still wouldn't see them 4 times in a lifetime, never mind a calendar year, but they've got more hits than you'd imagine.
There are certain occasions, though, socially, where if you do put like Gertrude or the Sideboard song on, it will go off. It just goes off. There's never the wrong
Chaz and
time to
Dave
put those songs
effect,
on.
isn't it? I think that's what's happened. That's what Ange Postecoglou's missing a trick here. Spurs are struggling. Just get a bit of Chaz and Dave on in the dressing room. Know what I mean? And that might get them going.
Chaz and Ange. Which one's still alive? Is it Chaz or Dave?
Either.
I don't know, but I remember I got
Is one
really
of them not here no more? God rest his
No,
soul.
one of them's gone.
Oh,
Then the theme song for Big Break was sung by Captain Sensible.
Really?
No, really?
Wow, Captain Sensible.
Mind blown.
That was the sound of my mind being
And guess what it was
blown
called?
wide open.
Guess what the song was called?
Big Break.
The Snooker Song.
The Snooker Song. Fair play. Covers all the... It ticks all the boxes.
It does, don't it?
It
Great
ticks all the
creativity
boxes.
there, Mr. Sensible.
Yeah.
Chaz Hodges is no longer with us.
Oh, God
died
rest
on the
his soul.
22nd of September 2018. I'm not sure.
But I still don't know which one that is.
Oh, he's
No, I
the
don't
hairy
think we need
one.
to.
He's the hairy.
He's the beard fella.
Piano.
Yeah, I mean,
The beard. What are you doing?
so Dave
piano.
is currently still alive and is 79.
Okay, so Ange has got a bit of a beard.
Yeah.
He could go in and
Sub.
Yeah.
as a sub, and you know.
Ange and Dave.
Or Dave could join Chase and Status, and they could be called Chase and Dave.
Like,
All right.
I mean,
Okay.
drum and bass snooker loopy sounds tremendous to me.
Why wouldn't you? Why
Have we
wouldn't you?
started recording yet, lads?
Sadly, yes.
Is anyone still listening?
Again, sadly, no. But we'll have the conversation anyway.
This is what happens in international breaks. So
Why
isn't it?
not? What happened? This is what happens when Everton are 9 games unbeaten. 9. Yeah, as Clive Silsey once said, FIVE5 when we beat Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 in the FA Cup 84th round replay that we'd had. And he made it 5. I'm going to say NINE, 9. Undefeated. And that happened with a 1-1 draw against West Ham in what was probably one of the worst games of the season. But who
Better than
cares?
the Wolves game.
Marginally, yeah. But it was very much, lads, flip-flop time. So whoever wants to take the mic first, off you go.
Okay, well, I'll I mean,
I'll direct you next time, Sam. Off you go.
good to see the international break hasn't affected our chemistry.
No.
I feel like we're like the players were like got the flip flops on. I feel like we've sort of got our flip flops on. It's just, I suppose it's that weird feeling of, I've talked about it quite a lot over the last few weeks. Well, yes, safety feels odd. And I think I'm just about getting to the point where I'm getting used to it a little bit because, you know, the Wolves game was like, well, it's nice to be angry at something else other than the team and the club.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, yeah, we probably could have played a lot better on Saturday and probably should have beat West Ham. We were there for the taking at times and, you know, moved a couple of places up the table, which is kind of all we can do at this point, isn't it? Just kind of move a place or two up and keep that prize money in and, you know, get the planning for next season. But there was it was a poor game, wasn't it? It was a poor game. Two teams who weren't really at it at all. And it felt closer to the end of the season than it actually was.
Yeah.
Nice to see Brozier and Chimiti back on the pitch.
Yeah.
Chimiti looks huge, which is great. Brozier, someone said Brozier needs to hit the ground running. I think he did that and got injured last time.
Yeah, he did.
He kicked the ground running.
Well, and Beto nearly followed suit as well, didn't he? You know.
Yeah.
What is the Njai done the same thing?
Been out for months after kicking the floor, yeah.
Well, did you
Just
have a
don't kick
theory,
the floor.
Ped, about the grass or something?
Yeah, well, no, I do. I mean, just on a serious point, I do believe the grass, the weave, is causing problems with footballers.
Is the weave a sort of technical term, or is that
No,
just
it's
the way
that.
it's
The grass is woven, isn't it? It's like got a woven.
Like 19%.
It's like synthetic, isn't it? And we've seen it with the new stadium getting done. They weave this grass in, this synthetic grass, and obviously it weaves with the fibres of the real grass, so that you never get. Obviously, the pitch always looks full.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I just started noticing. You've seen the women's game's been plagued by ACL injuries, and obviously they're looking at that. But the men, I just noticed recently, the men's games seem to be getting more and more of these injuries, where not just ACLs, but where players were getting the foot stuck in the ground, and then someone would like hit them from whatever side, and then the foot wasn't getting dislodged, but the knee certainly was. And I don't know whether you see Brozier kicking the ground, you've seen Njai kicking the ground. Now we've seen Beto kicking the ground, and I just wonder how much the studs has an effect getting caught in these layers of. Because obviously, if it was just real grass, that wouldn't happen, would it? But with this synthetic grass amongst it, you just wonder how much how much the studs are getting caught in there, and I think I don't know whether it's real or it isn't real. It's just I'm putting two and two together, and I don't know if there's something in the grass that won't budge, then it's not going to be good for players, I imagine.
I never knew that, by the way. I never knew that it was synthetic or part synthetic grass.
Yeah, well, if you go back on some of the video, Everton put some videos out, and there's videos out there, and they literally, the machine went over the new ground, and it punches in like it's a giant knitting needle. It punches into the grass, and as I said, there's like green, I don't know exactly what it's made out of, these green fibres weave in, and so you couldn't distinguish them unless maybe you run your hand across the grass or anything. So, and they're just there to keep to help the grass grow, but obviously keep that surface all the time looking great. But it must, I don't know. It doesn't.
It wasn't that long ago, was it, where at this point in the season there'd be quite a lot of muddy parts of the grass, and by the end of the season, like the whole penalty area, well, right down the middle of the penalty area was just looked like a tractor had driven over it, and it was just like that for forever. It's only like, what, 10, 15 years since you're looking at the pitch all year round and it's immaculate. So
we obviously have the artificial lighting rigs now, don't we? So that's one of the reasons why we don't get that. That was obviously brought in. I remember years back, it was the San Siro. It was just after your Italian 90, and the San Siro pitch was terrible. And they were like, because the light couldn't get to it. And obviously they've made these things. And Everton, the new stadium's got the brand new one. So if you ever see the stadium at night from outside, and there's like a pink glow.
That's what it is it?
That's what it. But there's some fantastic pictures of where it's cold as well, and you have this glow, and it looks like steam's coming out, and it looks like a cauldron. But that's what that is. That's the lighting rig on the pitch. It's a pink colour. That's obviously artificial light to keep the grass always growing. So yeah, there you go. Bit of gardening world for you there.
I didn't know any of that either. You and me both, Sam.
There you go.
So Dave. The footy.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, much as Sam has said in terms of his review, it was difficult to get excited about. I did find it more enjoyable than the Wolves game, but I haven't. There's not many things that I enjoyed less than that. Except maybe seeing Chas and Dave 4 times in a calendar year.
Maybe.
What do I think? I was delighted for Jacob Brien once again.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed that Alcaraz didn't win it at the end.
Yeah.
Which West Ham may have felt was they would have been hard done by, and maybe over the balance of the 90 minutes, I think maybe a draw was a fair result. But Alcaraz should have put that away, and he just snatched at it. And I think he should have gone the other side. He should have gone to the right hand post, and I think that would have been in. But anyway, it shows that once again, as we said before, that he is seemingly very keen to impress, and he's maybe just snatching at things a little bit. But I mean, it's another week unbeaten, and now a little bit of a break and a very, very tough April.
But isn't it lovely to be, I think if anyone would have said after the Villa game, even though Everton did all right that night, should have got something, that the next 9 games Everton won't lose and they'll be 17 points clear of relegation, and it's all done and dusted, bar the shouting, we'd have all bit their hand off, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and I think we've come. Saturday was, and obviously the Wolves game, that was the end of, obviously, I know we had the break, that sort of 10-day break, but I feel like, Saturday was the end of a long, felt like a very long spell for a lot of teams, and West Ham were very similar to us. You could feel that end of term feeling about it, or everyone wanted to get off the pitch and go either play international football or go on a break for a few days. I'm sure they will have had. I'm sure their manager would have given their players a few days off, the same as ours. And you sort of felt that, and I just think what's optimistic for us though is towards the end of the game, as Sam said there, Schmidt coming on, Brozier coming on. It does give you that little sense of optimism that when we do come back, having the possibility of 3 or 4 fresh players now to add to that squad. Yes, April is tough, but it's also a fantastic opportunity to see some of these players fresher coming back against teams that, okay, on paper it looks difficult, and I think the most difficult game for me actually will be the Forest game away. That'll be the most difficult one for me. They've got everything to play for.
Yeah.
They've got absolutely everything to play. The derby will take care of itself. It's not. That to me is. That's one of those nights where you just it is what it is. I think the Forest game's the one you look at and go, that's going to be a big one. The rest of them, I look at Arsenal at home. There's a Champions League game for them 4 or 5 days later. Are they going to risk players in that game? City, are they really that arse? They just look so up and down. Of course, they could destroy us if they wanted to. Chelsea away, they're another one you look at and go, you know what? They're not doing anything amazing at the moment. No. So having those players back for me is a huge opportunity for those players. And whilst they're coming back during the month as well, the opportunity for Njai, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dwight McNeil to just get back into the squad and start pushing everybody and hope that by the time we get to May, we have a full complement and we can finish certainly those home games with a real flourish, and start looking. I've got no problem with the last couple of games because to me it's everyone can see now what we need for next season.
Ped, sorry to jump in.
No, go on, mate.
Just on that point, isn't there an argument to be made that we've drawn the last few games and it's been disappointing because we were picking up 3 points in quite a lot of games before that, but. For the sort of form to stall a little bit, even though we're still unbeaten, for Moyes to actually look at the players and see a bit more of an accurate picture of the level that they're at and where we need players, because we get wrapped up as fans. I'm sure Moyes is a little bit more pragmatic than us and can take emotion out of it, but you can fool yourself into thinking the players are better than they are because they've had 3 or 4 good games on the bounce. I think as Everton fans, we've had so little to cheer about. We've done that quite a lot over the last few years, and I think that we've seen the limitations of some of the players. We've also seen some players who look like they're going to flourish, like Jacob Brien, getting another goal. I mean, if he'd been in the team, or you're looking at 5-6 goals a season from me.
He had a shot before that as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. But he's like one of those Easter Island heads, isn't he? He's just he's huge, but he can move. I'd love to see him dance. Get him on Strictly.
Are they going to find his feet on the other side of the continent?
Maybe, and that's why Dice wasn't picking him. But. It's definitely kind of a more accurate depiction, I think, of where the squad is at, and there is so many areas. And like you say, Ped, gives the manager the chance to kind of have a look at some of these players coming back and see what he thinks of them, because he's not seen Dwight McNeil while he's been at the club. No. He doesn't really know much about Bros yet. Chimity's the same. So if they can get in and just get some game time and he can just have a look at them, and if they've got something to prove, then that can be beneficial for the last few games of the season for us.
What does he do with Jake O'Brien next season, by the way? Because he's obviously not a right back, and that's not his position. However, you wouldn't want to see him not in the side.
No.
So is there perhaps a sort of a short to medium term plan with? I mean, ultimately he's a centre half, isn't he? Yeah. And one would assume that he will get his chance at some point. But in the meantime, you just feel like, even though he doesn't look like a right back and doesn't really feel like a right back, but you can't, you want him in there.
Do you not think that? See, I think he looks so comfortable at right back compared to, say, players like Mason Holgate or Ben Godfrey that we've seen put there. I think he looks so comfortable and actually can add something to the game. I remember when we played Newcastle at home, and Hall was playing left back, and how comfortable he looked, and how good he was going forward. And I see similar in Jake O'Brien. It's like he's such a good footballer, and I think sometimes we look at players and
maybe it's just because he's too big for.
Because he's too big. Yeah, you look at him and go, "There's no possible way he can be have the maneuverability of to play."
That's what I mean, and it's perhaps unfair because I'm basing it on nothing other than his physical.
You just height us, Dave. That's the problem.
but it's nothing other than just the way he physically looks. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, though, Newcastle in their best spell had Dan Burn at left back. Dan Burn's not a very good centre back. He just isn't. But left back, he's been brilliant for Newcastle, and that's when they got in the Champions League. That's where he played, and he get goals, and he was huge.
I think it says a lot about the modern centre back, doesn't it? That they can manoeuvre. So I personally would have no problem with them playing right back next season if that meant Jared Branthwaite was still a centre back at Everton Football Club.
Do you honestly think Branthwaite's going to move? No, I don't. I think he's going to sign a new contract.
I think you've got to have an open mind about the situation, don't you?
Who's going to buy him?
Real Madrid are the only team I honestly think.
So
I honestly think
you could buy him. Their hands if they come in for him. You can't do nothing about that. He'd have to go.
No.
He'd have to go to there because it might be the only time they come. I don't see him moving anywhere else.
If he did go, I mean, like you say, Ped, I'd be pretty happy with Jacob Brien moving into the middle and then we perhaps would miss that kind of forward ability that he's got. But you know, he seems to get in the right place at the right time with his head. So it's he's someone to get excited about for the future, isn't he? Which is,
I agree,
kind of what we've been crying out for.
We'd be looking for a left, but we should be looking for it now, really, to future-proof the Brantwaite.
My only worry is if he played, if he played centre back. He's playing right back at the moment, and there's right backs at the club. So what does that say about that say about Patterson? You know, this is what I was saying. Maybe in the next month or so, we're gonna start maybe seeing players get opportunities. You know, whether Patterson might get a game or two, so the manager can see him. Other players might get opportunities just so the manager see him. Sam, you've just said it yourself. He hasn't seen certain players play, and to make a real, even whether that's training or whether that's, for some it's everything, as you mentioned then, Dwight McNeil. He needs to see these players so he can make decisions on them. It's not a bad thing that Harrison and Lindstrom have played a few games, because he probably knows that he should send them both back if they don't really start picking it up. He knows that now, and he can start planning. They go on the list. For other players, he might need to, like you're saying there, Jacob Brien gives him a year to find another right back, and it's one less player to find. And he was always like that, wasn't he? His first spell of. It's why Tony Hibbert played so many games for us. There was always some other position that needed filling before Tony Hibbert. And then it was just that Seamus came, and we got him on the cheap, obviously. And
he did try, didn't he, with like Lars Jacobs?
No, he did, but what I mean is that there was always some other position that needed filling, and you'd spend money. Where Tony Hibbert was like, no, he's fine, and it was still the era of a right back's a right back. I wonder whether that's that. If you know, we can't do everything in one summer, so it might just be a case that Jake keeps playing there.
I think the one he really want to look at closely is Chimiti, I think. I think he said in his press conference how well he strikes the ball, which is I thought was a thinly veiled dig at Beto.
Well, he kicks the ground.
No, but I think he was just saying, like, Chimiti, you know, he's looked good. He didn't know any. He keeps saying, I don't know anything about him, so I'm learning, which is fine. He obviously tried to get Brozier at West Ham, so he knows about Brozier and obviously likes his abilities on the ball, and I thought he made a big difference at the weekend. So some players have got a real... Tim Irabunum's another one. Thought he was good when he come on at the weekend. He's another one. These lads, Nathan Patterson, these lads are all going to have to get a game. And
then the other side of that is, of course, someone like Decore, you've got to start weaning him out the side. If you're not keeping him, and you're not keeping Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then really those players should stop getting opportunities.
There's subs, aren't they? But subs then last 20 minutes for freshness or whatever. That's what they're there for. Because Moyes will be... He's not hanging around.
No.
You know, he wants to get this next phase underway, and it's great that we've been able to make sure that we're where we are now. And all attention will be turned to next season, and he'll be thinking, right, we need to hit the ground running. Let's see, you know, what we're getting from this player or that player. Because that recruitment has to start in earnest, basically. Well, now really, isn't it? But
or certainly in terms of identifying them.
It's got to, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose for the first time, though, we're able as a club to look at players who aren't there to firefight and just keep us up. And we probably should have been at this point last summer, but for some reason we weren't. Or the players that were brought in to try and get us up the league weren't utilised. Jacob Brien, who we've just discussed, being one of them. So Moyes has done that thing that we wished and hoped that he would do, which is get us to a point of safety early on. And, you know, all you can hope is that the stuff behind the scenes is taking place right now. And players are being identified, players are being approached.
Like it never has done before.
Well, yeah. You just hope with the you know, big changes in the boardroom the last sort of 7 days, hasn't there? But a lot of which is funny because a lot of other fans of other clubs probably wouldn't get excited about a new. I can't even think of the job title. CEO's the one, but then there's all these other job titles that I've forgotten. Like, well, there's the comms officer, isn't there? But there's like, you know, sub manager, boardroom level, and I'm like, yes, that's good because we need a new one of them because it feels like that's, you know, you talk about right backs. We've got loads of right backs, but there's been positions at the club off the pitch that have probably, you know, been identified to be changed for a long time.
I think that's spot on, Sam, because it is evidence it's moving forward, it changes. We had obviously the story the other day that Everton are buying, or trying to buy Nelson Dock as well, and all of these things all of these things point in the right direction. But just to pick up sort of on what Dave said there, I think David Moyes did plan when there was a little bit of money there. Do you know what I mean? It was just that. In his first spell, we never really had any money. But when he was given some money early on, I remember when he got Andy Johnson, Joleon Lescott and Tim Howard in May. I remember I'd gone on holiday to Florida. Everton signed 3 players while I was away, and it was like, what the hell's going on? We've done our business and I'm still away. Do you know what I mean? It was mad.
Why didn't he wait for me?
No, mate. It was great.
I'm in Magic Kingdom, for God's sake.
It was great because we didn't have to wait till deadline day to try and scramble people in. So I think with the money and with obviously the removal of certain factors and moving forward, I think David Moyes' planning is there.
Do you think Moyes has been like sitting there for years just with this plan in front of him? What I would do, you know,
he's probably had it in a locked vault somewhere.
Like Kevin McAllister's plan of how he's going to stop the burglars coming in. He's just got it right there, and he's been waiting to enact it for years and years. And suddenly, Everton have just given him the key. He can't believe it. Everton have literally given him the keys. They've sacked this fella, sacked that fella, and he's just gone, yes, the plan unfolds, and he's got like he's got like players from the 2010s who he's going to sign. Yes, we're going to buy this fella and that fella, and Robbie Keane, where are you? He's ready to go.
For your club, Robbie, yeah. Robbie Sabbath, he's still doing his job, wouldn't he? Yeah. Field.
Absolutely.
No, it is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, what did you make of the Nelson Dock stuff?
I mean, it's more for Sam, I think. Dave, has this story permeated to you?
He has permeated. But I'll tell you what I know, which isn't very much, other than the fact that I've just read the fact that the club are looking to purchase Nelson Dock, but I don't know anything further than that. And then there's been all sorts of rumours in terms of what they'll do with it. But they're talking to Peel Holdings and stuff, aren't they?
It's the fact that Everton have confirmed it that makes me think it's so far along that it is happening. And Sam, I guess the point is that's just further evidence that we actually are starting to think a little bit bigger than what we've sort of been allowed to think, and a little bit more structure. I think Mashiri was very much Brewster's Millions, wasn't it? Just, you know, there's some money, just do whatever.
Yeah. He knew nothing about football, though. I mean, that's the fundamental
Well, he trusted
problem.
people he shouldn't have done, and that was the thing. And these seem very much more business-like, clinical in what they're doing, and further evidence, Sam.
Totally. I mean, they built the Mashiri started, the stadium's finished. We're going to move in. Yeah, great. That's brilliant. What next? How do we maximise not just the stadium, but the match-going experience, the area around it? As you know, if you've been past the site, there's a lot of space around the side of it that is going to be developed by someone. Why not Everton? Yeah, you're brain dead if you don't. You're really short-sighted. Well, you're either brain dead or you don't have the cash to buy the land in the first place. Now, thankfully, now with TFG, we've got people who employ this thing, which is kind of like being a sort of swear word around Everton recently. It's called strategy. And I Googled it, and it basically means planning for the future in a sensible manner.
Wow.
But they've also got the cash to back it up, because the investment in that Nelson Dock, it depends what they do with it. I mean, they turn it into a car park. That's probably a really bad idea. I'm sure they're not going to do that. I'm sure they're looking at kind of I call it the PED arena, the PED arena, because I took my lad to the Co-op Live to see Snow Patrol a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I mentioned that on the podcast, but that whole area, because obviously it's right next to the Etihad, it's insane. It's so modern. There's so much money. The actual arena itself, because it's so well built and so well put together, I must have spent at least 40 quid more than I probably would have done. Because I was like, well, I'll get one of them and I'll get one of these. Oh, there's a shop here. Let's get something to eat. And if Everton can get people to, because people want to spend money, people will spend money. They're going to spend money, whether it's, if the Hot Wok redeveloped Nelson's
Dock. That's what I would put.
Massive buffet.
Hey, the Hot Dog.
The Hot Dog.
There you go.
Nelson's Wok.
Nelson.
I like that.
Nelson's Wok. Write that down. That's ours.
That's ours.
We need to buy the dock on the other side now, just for that idea. But you got to get, people are going to spend money. Why not spend it in the club? Because then, as we all know, if, and this is if the club intend this to be the case, but then you've got the ability to, your income is so much higher. You can then spend the money that you've already got, but you can spend it on players, and you can raise that PSR bar, which is something that is really important.
This is what I was going to ask. Is at the risk of asking this question, in terms of you were saying about we didn't have the cash beforehand, but any kind of expenditure on Nelson's Dock or whatever else around there, how does that impact or affect PSR, or doesn't it?
No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't, would it? Because it wouldn't come. It would come from the owners, and might just be the land they buy, and someone else might build an arena.
It wouldn't necessarily be going through the club's books.
I don't think it would. Well, even if it did, I don't think it would. I don't think it would be. It's facility. It's infrastructure, isn't it? So I don't think it. I don't think it would. So I was reading an article before about like the stadium, and they were saying they want it to be it's a must play 365 entertainment venue. I mean, that's what they call it. That's what they say nowadays. It can host events between 5,000 and 53,000. But obviously, that's a lot of that comes in the summer months, doesn't it? For the general stuff, but I've been saying this for a while. Just seems to me an absolute no-brainer, doesn't it? If you've got a massive piece of land next to the ground, I know at the moment it's a dock, you'd have to fill it in, but we've already done that once.
Yeah, we know how to do that, don't we?
We know how to do that. We're quite good at that. And if we don't buy it, who's to say someone else doesn't buy it and does the same thing, and we lose that opportunity? And as Baz just said there, if Colin Chong's already mentioning it, then you would imagine they're already putting things down for it, and it just makes sense. It's joined up thinking. It's what they've done in Manchester, and I don't even think Manchester City own that arena. I think someone else owns it, but they facilitated it, and that's what we should be doing, and we should be thinking. We should be looking to make the whole area a place where people go all year round, because obviously a stadium outside of football does have limitations. You can only have so many concerts, and you've got to think of the bigger picture. And Sam, someone, obviously you live here, you work here as well, for bigger venues. It's the difference between the Co-op Arena and M&S Arena we've got. It's night and day, isn't it now?
Yeah,
that's something that's been there for like 15 years. And
I didn't actually think I could, because the M&S Arena to me still feels quite modern, or the Echo Arena as we still call it in the city, but it's not modern. And it's only when I went to the Co-op Live I thought, oh, this is what it looks like. And I'd imagine that's the experience going to Bramley Moor as well, where you just go, oh, this is what modern stadia feels like. I hope, if Everton don't buy that Nelson Dock, it'll probably come out the Chelsea of balls. It'll something like snooped it from us and sell it back to themselves. Or the worst thing would be if Everton, what Dave was saying about putting it through the books, if Everton say, oh, we can't afford a new right back because we've just spent it all on a car park.
Billing in the dock. No, but it's a huge opportunity, isn't it? And as I said, it makes, from the outside, if I think people look at this new stadium and they look at Everton and go, wow, look at this, and they will say that once they get down there. People will look at it, we're all going to test. Are you going to test event on Sunday? No, you're not going? Okay, well, I'm going to test events again on Sunday, and every time you walk through those walls, you just look up and go, wow. And the idea of having something next to that stadium as well, and it all being this one big Everton, all being owned by Everton, all being, and people to go, this is all yours. Even before, again, this article I was reading, was talking about the fan plaza, being used for smaller concerts, but all your facilities are within the stadium. So people who go to these things, they're locked in by the wall, and so that stops loads of like money needing for like fake fences but like the each stand will be open. So if people need to go to the toilet and stuff, that's where they'll use, and that's where they'll go to buy food and all that kind of thing. And it's those extra layers that really will help Everton. And then so if you've got a new arena next to it and you've got a fan plaza already there, so people can come in, drink on your land, and then go in there, and then hopefully it'll be big enough. I don't know if it will or not. I don't know if Everton are thinking this big, but as I've said a few times, went to arena in Paris in December, and that was used for indoor rugby. So if you could put an indoor football pitch in it for the women's team and the under-21s, why not? Suddenly you've got this must-go destination.
Well, you make it into a whole district, don't you? You know, really, in terms of for the retail and the food and everything.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you just look at it on a microscopic level, and this is just a tiny part of it, but you know where the arena is, and obviously there was nothing there before, but you know now you've got the hotel and you've got the car park and you've got the arena and you've got the Pizza Express and stuff, and that's just like a tiny little, you know, that's just taking something and making it some, you know, whereas you think about the possibilities around the stadium and with Nelson's Dock and stuff, and you can make that into a whole you know district of Liverpool that people would go to. You know.
And then you force the infrastructure. Obviously, there's a lot of conversations at the moment within the city about the travel and everything about the new stadium. And, you know, we'll find out more on Sunday about how they're handling that, because the first test event, it was ridiculous because they didn't test any of the anything. But there's more buses, more trains, even ferries are being put on.
Yeah.
So you're testing the infrastructure. And if you were to have a concept, an arena that was all year round, you're literally then putting it on the council and saying you need to build a new train station. You have to build a new train station because people are coming into this place that don't go to football. You've got to make this area safe, because it feels like at the moment, they're just football fans. They'll find a way to get there. They'll get there. It doesn't matter. We're all looked at as football fans, I think, as being men aged 25 to like 65. I'll usually be fine. And I know me missus is having to deal with the council as her role as her Game 2 ambassador. And she's talking to them going, have you been down and looked at the lights? The lights are dim. Yeah. And the fella had to go down and go, yeah, they are a bit dim, aren't they? So because it's all looked upon as being men. Yeah, men go the game. Suddenly you've got a completely new audience that can pile money in. A new audience for Everton. You've got to give these people what they expect. You know,
which is just general safety, isn't it?
Yeah, and the first thing that was mentioned with Manchester United was we're getting a new railway and we're getting a new tram line. Those things were never discussed when Everton said we're getting a stadium.
But also, it was the easiest thing in the world to the bloody train line's there.
Yeah.
You know, the train line goes straight past it to Sand Hills, and it's like it would have been so easy to build a station there.
Yeah, but we've got a mayor, without saying anything, who did say on record only in the last month, well, it was only in December that it was sort of all confirmed because you got new owners. So there was never confidence. It doesn't seem like there was confidence that this, even though the stadium was built, that it was ever going to be opened. Which is crazy, isn't it? No, but for him to actually say that is actually crazy.
But he also called the thing your fan zone when it's just that.
Yeah, when it's just a queuing system. So let's hope that these people do have these big ideas, because they're not really that big ideas, are they? It's just that we live in a city where we've been dumbed down to be told that, a 12,000 arena that holds not real concerts but like fake concerts, Taylor Swift or something, you know what I mean? It's like that. That's what it.
She would have been on that tribute. Yeah, absolutely, along with Earth, Wind for Hire and stuff.
Chaz and Swift.
Love that.
So
proxy music.
Yeah, let's get back to that. That was like
if there's no train station built, I'm gonna dig out a Tuk Tuk and just start doing that. Just be just running up and down from Sandhills with people in the back.
Get you fit as well.
It'll get me fit as a butcher's dog. I'll have Toffee TV on the side.
Buzzing.
Where does one dig out a Tuk Tuk?
Yeah, that's the thing. Where would you dig out a Tuk Tuk?
My shed is on the brink of collapse. And I'm thinking that wood, as much as it's rotten, I can either take it a tip or I can build a Tuk Tuk. So
Dave could get his mate's horses.
He could.
There we go. And he could just bring them up and
Absolutely, we could fashion some kind of pony and trap kind of setup.
More like bleeding Steptoe and son. You could have Chaz and Dave inside the Tuk Tuk.
Yeah, and Jamie Vardy there, on the back.
Buy Jamie Vardy just
for that.
The Tuk Tuk.
Yeah. Just for that.
No, just for the horses.
Oh, yeah.
Steptoe,
yeah. Then
pay him in Red Bull.
Then yeah,
good times.
It'd be good times, yeah. I don't know what to say from that. Anything else going on, lads, apart from Tuk Tuk, Jamie Vardy and Chaz and Dave concerts?
Oh, hang on, Sam, you were in London yesterday with doing something. So come on, have you got any stories or information from that you can share with us, or is it all
Hush.
behind the lawyers have got to keep it quiet?
Yeah, I've got several lawsuits pending, but I can tell you what happened. Go on. That's unrelated. It was for TNT Sports. It was the Footy's on. It's called.
Okay.
It's been on for years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They're doing sort of more club-centric episodes. So yesterday, I was invited to go and speak at the Everton one. So it was myself, Charlie Baker, who's a friend of mine, comedian, who's on all the episodes, and Big Nev Southall was the Everton guest. So I wasn't given that much information before I went, actually. So I thought it was just a little studio thing, and I got there and there was a full live audience. So there's about 100 Everton fans in this comedy club in London, in Chiswick, which I think was where Bird of the Feathers was set.
Chigwell.
Sorry.
Yeah. If you're looking for Everton fans, I mean, that's the first place you go, isn't it?
Chiswick.
Yeah. L4, and after that, it's Chiswick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chiswick, yeah.
I think it's West 4, ironically.
Is it? It might well be. Not a tuk-tuk in sight, but what was interesting is that looking at the Everton fans in attendance anyway, I feel like Everton have got more bald fans than any other club, and that's probably due to the fact that we're incredibly stressed. I'm only 19 myself. Look at me, a mess. And also, about 100 Everton fans in this room, not one obstructed view.
Yeah.
It felt weird.
Good times.
Yeah. Not even the fella behind Nev.
Yeah. Why we should be getting a bold sponsor on a Turkish
Bold sponsor.
Not a bold sponsor.
I thought you meant bold. I was going to say who.
We should get that Turkish guy to sponsor us, shouldn't we? If that's what Sam's saying. Sam should put a business case together.
The glue one. Forget the spray on. They're gone. Toaston's
What
got
about-
off.
Spray on like actual hair.
What about the synthetic weave that Beto falls on? There's got to be some way of kind of, getting involved
weaving
in
that
that.
into your
Weaving
barnet,
that into your conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. Yeah.
You have the lines so the linesman can see, what's offside and what's not, so we can leave it flag down anyway and just let players get injured. But it was good. It was a good chat. I've never met Nev before, so obviously, it was really kind of.
He's dry, isn't he?
He's very dry.
He's very dry.
Than the old pitch he used to dive around on. But he was. He had loads of interesting takes. Some of which I agreed with, some of which I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Nev.
But, he was steadfast in his opinion. And it was just nice to sit next to, an absolute, the best keeper that has ever played for our club. And, record appearances and all of that, and just sit and chat to him. So that was really nice. But it was a good laugh, and there was some really funny questions from the Everton fans. Someone told me that it'll be on TV 15 times, that episode.
Brilliant.
Really?
So it was it's like filler, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
being too disrespectful.
That's what I'm good for. I am
too disrespectful.
I don't want to be too disrespectful.
I wasn't sure. With the sliding scale of disrespect.
Yeah.
Exactly
It's
where
basically
we're
a show. Yeah, it's basically a show when a game goes into extra time and it's gone. So the next show that was supposed to be on, they have to leave that. So they have to put up. Very much like when the derby last week went to it, and everyone was waiting for them to come back and talk about the penalty situation, and it didn't. Michael Owen just popped up talking about last month's VAR decisions.
Brilliant.
That will be Sam.
Yeah,
Sam's nickname's Polly. Bit of filler. No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am.
Well, fair play.
Yeah.
That's not unfair to describe it in that way, I think. But I've always said, if you need something filling, I'm your man.
Well,
absolutely.
That's
what I've
for
heard.
life, isn't it?
There it is.
Get on me Tuk Tuk and we'll
Absolutely.
That should be your
costings.
tagline for Thunderstorm, really.
Yeah. It could still be.
Have you got a tour coming up, Sam?
I do, yeah.
Have you?
Funny you should ask that.
When?
September, mid-September it starts.
Mid-September.
February.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, tickets still available.
I think there's 3 tickets left across all the venues.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But if you go on, the seating plan might suggest otherwise, but that doesn't mean they're not sold.
Okay.
Are you playing?
What do you mean? The seating plan might suggest that there's acres of empty seats.
Yeah.
Are you playing Landudno
I'm not, but I do have a gig in Landud now.
I was going to say, you should invite Nev. I mean, he doesn't live there, but, you know.
He's Colwyn
live
Bay,
there.
isn't he?
Yeah,
No, he's Landud. Oh, no,
is he?
don't say that to him.
Right, okay.
Oh.
I thought he was Colwyn Bay.
No, he's very much
You're playing real.
No, I'm not playing real.
I don't think there's anywhere in real to play.
There is.
There's a Sun Centre.
I mean,
No.
there literally is a theatre in
No, that's not the same. That's not what Sam plays.
But unlike the TV stuff I do, this tour will be all filler and no killer. I've said that the wrong way around, haven't I?
Well, have you?
Have you really, Sam?
Yeah.
Have
Freudian
you?
slip there.
And Dave, and while we're on the plugs, let's get into Dave. So, Dave,
Absolutely.
you've recently interviewed ex-Everton manager Frank Lampard.
When did this turn into the one show, by the way?
And Everton,
Yeah, absolutely,
Everton icon Phil Jagielka. How
Yes.
was that? And where can people find those episodes?
Well, thank you, Peter. And it's interesting of you to ask about that.
Yes.
Actually, it wasn't so much me interviewing, but I was producing and facilitating. David Prutton is his name. Sky Sports presenter, former Premier League footballer, and the host of our new EFL Unfiltered series, where he goes behind the scenes and sits down with some notable names from the EFL who've enjoyed extraordinary careers. And so far have gone out Frank Lampard, Coventry City manager, Phil Jagielka. This week's episode is Steve Bruce, Blackpool manager.
Bruce.
And then we also have Billy Sharp, we have Mick McCarthy, we have Gareth Ainsworth, and we have two more to be filled slots as yet, which I can't tell you about because I don't know
Filler?
what they are.
Well,
There you go.
Sam's like, I'll do it.
Maybe you'll be episode 7.
I'm free. When is it?
But if you do want to catch up on all of this, then you can find it all on the EFL's YouTube page and wherever you get your podcast
There
from.
you go.
Brilliant.
Sounds great, Dave.
Check
Everton.
them out. Check it
From
out.
Everton links there.
Everton there.
There you go.
It's from
Everton.
Everton.
That.
Right. There we go.
There you go. We've done all
Another great episode there.
Didn't get into any tip. Have you not got any latest tip news?
I haven't been back to tip yet. I've got another one planned in a couple of weeks, so I'll keep you updated if there's any rogue one-arm celebrations going on.
See, that would have been the perfect time to go on Sunday while the cup final was on, just to see
if he was there.
Just to see if anyone was there while the cup final was on.
Tip man would have been kicking his windscreen through, though, wouldn't
I know, but it
Can I
would
tell
have
you
been
a
a nice...
little dead quick story about
Go
the
on,
cup
Sam.
final? I know we're not focusing on them lot, but
No.
I was on the train from Yorkshire down to London yesterday for the TNT Sports thing, and went to the buffet cart. Woman behind the counter serves me. She's a Geordie, obviously. She recognised my accent as I asked for a bacon butty, and she just like under the breath almost says, "Did you watch the football yesterday?" Like thinking I'm a Liverpool fan. I said, and I started whispering as well. I went, "You think I'm a Liverpool fan, don't you?" And she went, "Yeah." I went, "I'm an Everton fan," and we high fived. It was so naughty.
I'm not in on celebrating Geordies winning.
Oh no,
anything.
I'm not
I'll
celebrating.
be honest with you.
Just
No, I
a
know.
little moment.
I can't bring myself to be happy for them.
No, I'm not happy
No,
for them.
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's yeah.
I thought I might get a discount on my bacon butty, but
Yeah,
you
it
didn't.
is.
It didn't.
Nah, no. Well, you wouldn't, because
There you go.
anyway.
There you go.
It was an opportunity to go to tip, and you've missed out.
I've missed it. So I'll live tip, not live, but
But it wouldn't be live, would it?
I'll up. Well, you
After
never
the
know. Could
fact.
do a thing, but
Do you have to take proof of residence or proof of ID when you go to the tip? I know that sounds like a boring question, and perhaps it is, but I was just wondering.
no, Dave. No,
Do you not?
no.
Well, because sometimes there's a tip here, you have to, because to prove that you are within the sort of tip catchment
boundaries.
area. Yeah. You have to sometimes prove so that you're not.
Well, I've got
yeah.
essentially 3 tips we could go to.
Have you? Can you email us which ones they are, please?
I can just tell you.
We're not allowed to go in big vans. though.
Old Swan, Heighton, or thingy.
Otterspool.
Okay.
We're not allowed to go in big vans, though.
big
You have
vans,
to book in
can't
big.
go.
No,
You've got to have
Yeah,
proof that
yeah.
you're not a
meaning the
business if
shoes,
you take a big
the actual
van.
driving thing.
What a great time.
I need a new shed though. So if anyone's got any tips on like where,
Why
to
don't you get an
find
old
a shed-
tuk-tuk and convert
Yeah.
it? Take the wheels off it, stick it in the garden, shed.
Everyone's a winner.
Well, a hut.
Yeah. There you go.
Get in the bin. Right, we're going. Take it
Tremendous.
easy. Everyone, make sure you like, subscribe, give it a 5-star review.
Buy
Why
tickets
wouldn't you?
off Sam.
Buy
Watch
tickets off Sam.
Dave's podcasts.
Do that.
Listen to them, whatever.
Do it all. Why wouldn't you?
You've got loads of time. There's no footy.
Yeah, there's nothing doing, is there? For
There's
another...
nothing doing.
Get it all lined up. See you later. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.